All right, so it's June 30th, 2021. I am grateful to be present, to be in a good vibration today. This would have been my grandfather's 91st birthday if he was still here. And my grandfather was a man that I had a great deal of respect for. He really cherished his family and, took care of his family. He was definitely a family man. Like some men, he may have had his challenges in the realm of relationships, but through, observing, how he managed his relationships with the women in his life, that actually showed me a lot about, that which I will allow and that which I won't allow in my relationships or my relationship with a man. So I guess I moved to share that because a lot of times we look at the not so favorable things, our parents or our elders may have done and hold that against them when there's so many great things that they've done or they're doing that gets easily overlooked, it gets overshadowed. So with that being said, I've had a lot of things that were in sync with my relationship with my grandfather that just showed up today. And I was able to smile each time, and I'm grateful for that. So if you're someone who are struggling with loss at this time, I just want to send you, some healing, loving energy. I like to be direct, but also empathetic as much as possible. But with that being said, we are promised, death at some point in time. And, when we lose those that we love, it gives us an opportunity to reflect and, to appreciate those that are still with us and appreciate that we still have life within us and just making decisions every day to live better, do better, strive more, do more, positive, uplifting, encouraging, beneficial activities and things. But I am cooking, so if you hear noise in the background, that's what that is. As far as updates for the month of July, my perspective, I watched things play out as, the cards said they would for the most part. And with that being said, I was grateful to have the insight, the guidance, and the direction to be able to help me move through that energy and not get swept away with it, because it was pretty heavy, pretty dense, pretty dark energy. And with that being said, politics is not my thing. So, it was a good experience for me to learn, enough to know enough to, understand how this world operates and whatnot. But yeah, I have a few family members that, have some birthdays coming up, Cancers and Leos. I'm gonna do my best to try to make sure I remember everyone's birthday, so I don't get side-eyed at the next family event or conference or, class or however that goes where I see you and you ain't remember my birthday. I don't even need that type of energy, so I'm gonna do my best, now that I'm, back from hell. Yeah. For good purpose, good purpose, good reason, to make sure that our kids aren't being, turned into lab rats. Yeah. Make sure our elders aren't being, treated like lab rats either. Yeah. Had to go to hell to take care of that kind of business, but we're keeping this light positive. Y'all ain't ready for the truth. All right. So July 2021, what is our crowning energy source? The Most High, God, Alpha and Omega, beloved, the divine source, creator of all that is, and all that resonates with the vibration of love. I want to make sure that we're supporting our leaders, our people that are responsible for others, to stay clear on what we're to be doing, at any given time, just to make sure that we're on track and, accomplishing our goals, taking care of our business, just staying organized and staying focused, All right. So if you are new to this journey, the Divine Masculine represents primarily masculine energy, the male, and Divine Feminine represents, female, the woman, feminine energy. However, we know that the masculine as well as the feminine energy resides within each of us as men and women. And our goal is to become more self-aware and be able to identify our more masculine traits and our more feminine traits, and learning how to balance the two so that we are able to be whole, connected, self-aware, productive human beings, people, men, women, divine men and divine women, All right? And meditation is most definitely a tool that, I highly recommend to help with that journey. It's something that I've been doing now for over 10 years, and I have to say, I honestly don't think I would be as far in my journey as I am if I wasn't, allowing the divine to remove all the clutter over time, all the collected information that you've received, consciously and unconsciously, from listening to the radio and commercials and watching TV and commercials and, driving down the road and billboards, more commercials. All of it's programming. All of that is, things that we've collected in our minds, whether we realize it or not. And, to the degree in which, we realize it or not. But it gets deep. So with that being said, a lot of people think that, they know who they are. They think that they know what they like. They think they know why they make certain decisions that they make. But then, they get to a point in life where they have, an awakening in which shows them that, I wasn't as, sure about who I am as I thought I was. I know. I've been there, and, it's a thing. It's a thing, looking in the mirror and be like, who did I become? How did I get here? I was the girl with the, that loved her afro, and yeah. And, just do her and just, take care of her business and mind her business. And then I became somebody that people didn't like. I'm like, how did that happen? When did that happen? And I'm like, oh, well, it's part of life, Everyone's not going to like you. And I am grateful that, a few years ago, I received that message, in a divine time in my life where I was starting on a significant part of my journey of self-discovery. And the message was from one of my spiritual teachers, in which it was like, everybody didn't like Jesus, so don't expect everybody to like you, but Jesus is one of the most, known of, whether they call him Jesus, Yeshua, Son of God, or, whatever name, Horus, we got a lot of different names for, this character in history. So with that being said, everybody don't like him, but he still has been impactful in, what he's taught, what his life, what his mission taught. He taught men to fish. He taught, compassion, that is love in action. And that comes from, our good girl Mel from Your Angelic Karma. You can find her in the Goddess Gang. Yeah, I actually pay respect and give, respect to the teachers who have contributed to me getting here.
Part 1. Laying Plans. Sun Tzu said, "The art of war is of vital importance to the state." It is a matter of life and death, a road either to safety or to ruin. Hence it is a subject of inquiry which can on no account be neglected. The art of war, then, is governed by 5 constant factors, to be taken into account in one's deliberations, when seeking to determine the conditions obtaining in the field. These are 1. The moral law, 2. Heaven, 3. Earth, 4. The commander, 5. Method and discipline.
So I have a question for you. What does school teach you about money? So when I'm 9 years old, I'm sitting in the 4th grade, and I asked my teacher, I said, hey, when are we gonna learn about money? And my teacher smiled and she said, we don't teach the subject of money in school. Like I could almost hear her saying what my pastor would say, the love of money is the root of all evil. I said, well, it may be evil to you, but it's not evil to me. I want to learn how to make money.
Read Marie Claire and Cosmo, and I remember there was this article that talked about how did Jennifer Lopez get rid of her devastating derriere, right? And everybody wanted those trim, fit little booties. You know what? In the next video, we're going to talk about Black women going on strike on TikTok. We're going to talk about Black women taking their power back. And, oh, the apples are coming in. I'm going to read that in just a moment. And so people wanted flat bottoms. They wanted taut bottoms, small little bottoms. But Black women persisted. We persisted in our curviness. We persisted in celebrating ourselves and being unapologetic. And people who wanted to emulate those, you heard her, and we know what the deal is. People who wanted to emulate that look because it wasn't going away. And people kept trying to convince us that it didn't look good. They kept trying to convince us that, I remember back in the days on the rants and raves board of what was the Craigslist, right? There were people who were showing Black women's booties, talking about and holding up a piece of fried chicken like a drumstick. And they would hold up the drumstick and be like, this is what happens to you when you eat too many of these drumsticks, the fried chicken, right? You get this horrible looking booty, but the booties really look, the bottoms look good. The bumper them look good. They look good. And they always have looked good, but they spent so long trying to convince us that it didn't, right? And I remember I read this article years ago. And when I read this article, it talked about why Black women were not falling siege to the low self-love epidemic that was striking young white women. And it was basically because Black women have never fit into the mold of this standard of beauty. And so they just embrace their type of beautiful with the curves and the lips and the look and the skin and all of this stuff, right? So we were immune to the pressures of plastic surgery.
Hey, I'm AD Dolphin, the CEO of DHerbs.com. At DHerbs, we care about your well-being, including your sexual health, which I get tons of questions about. There are so many myths about sex, and I'm here today to shed much needed light. You guessed it, today we're gonna discuss the fact and fiction about sexual health.
As he can. And then when he went and got him a woman, she was so light, she was damn near white. Understand what I'm saying? So these institutions that you're sending us into and our children, is a lot of times they're destroying you. We can develop our own schools, brothers and sisters. What's the problem? You know, because you got to take that time and put it into them. You got to develop institutions that's going to bring our children up into their manhood, not break them down and control them. Well, they can't be themselves in school. You know, I had one son, Samaya, hell, he was 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. We had to go up to school, hell, he up there trying to teach the class. Teachers didn't like that. But they had learned how to be assertive and challenging because they had a certain knowledge in their mind. You understand? We be teaching the wrong thing. Jack and Jill went up the hill, Humpty Dumpty fell off the damn wall. Nobody want to hear that. What's that going to do for us? We need to